You talked there about embracing ideas that come from your 250,000 employees that you have, and you talked about there being scope for them to have input into improving processes. That takes me on to asking you, Abid, about TCS's view and management of innovation within the organisation. Innovation, as you're probably well aware, is quite an overused term and is not always appropriately used. What does innovation actually mean to you and TCS?
We look at innovation across three different horizons, if you will, which essentially is the traditional theory of just doing better what you do currently and then cross-utilizing stuff from what you do in one place to another to the third stage, which is breakthrough innovation. And I think we continuously invest in all the three. More important than the outcome of these innovations, it is more the culture which we focus on. Because innovation as a culture allows people to make mistakes, allows people to think differently, and that is what we emphasize on. And our customers see the fruit of it on a day-to-day basis. Some of the larger breakthrough innovations that we've been able to come up with are examples like the platform BPO or business process as a service. We started in 2005-2006, where we were actually ahead of the game and early in the industry. The industry has only started talking about it in the last couple of years. Some of these kind of bubble up all the way and become breakthrough innovations, but from our organizational perspective, we encourage people to think differently and focus on the business value or outcome of the number of small innovations that they do on a day-to-day basis to improve productivity, lower risk for our customers, to improve the quality, and some of them could then convert into larger breakthrough innovations. As you know, we already have a very strong R&D system where we have a number of innovation labs which focus on specific areas of innovation. Just as an example, in the BPO industry today, we are investing heavily in what I call as robotic automation. Looking at aspects where we see that there is a number of people following certain SOPs or standard operating processes. And the expectation is that these people, when they are doing the processing, do not deviate from these SOPs. As a software engineer, to my mind, it immediately comes that if we have people who are not supposed to deviate, why can't we use artificial intelligence, which is available today, to automate the whole process in a robotic manner where there is a self-learning system and mimic exactly what typically an agent or a human being would do, which is, although one would follow the SOP every day, because of doing a number of transactions every day, the person gets smarter, the person learns and does it better and better day after day. Today, we could have IT systems doing exactly that. And that's an area of innovation where we are investing in. We've got some small pilots out already, and it could actually change the entire industry. In areas, I think 20 to 30% processes would be amenable to this kind of a robotic automation that we are embarking on. So we invest in innovation across the board in Horizon 1 through Horizon 3.
So Abid, that sounds like that could potentially be quite game-changing. What other developments are there that are underway within TCS that could also be game-changing?
Again, as I said, we have a number of innovation labs, and each innovation lab takes 2 or 3 challenges based on the expertise that they have, and they continuously think, and we invest in them, and they come up with ideas, they do pilots, and then, as I said, some of these ideas then bubble up and become large projects. You know, we don't talk about things which are still relatively early, so a lot of things that our teams are working on, I may not be able to speak about, but if you look at the number of patents, intellectual property patents that we have been applying and getting, it is one of the highest in the industry, which essentially shows that we are able to come up with inventions which might not have happened before and plow them back into what we do for our customers.
Okay, let's focus on developments within finance shared services. There's a kind of a progression towards global business services, which the market hasn't really defined as yet, but if we were going to take a stab at a generally recognized definition, it would be something along the lines of a multifunctional shared services organization that is governed in a way that reports into one very, very senior executive member that probably reports straight into the CEO, and the systems and processes and organizational structure that has been set up in finance is largely extrapolated across HR and IT. And it's generally assumed that maybe 5% of the captive shared services or the captive and BPO kind of hybrid shared services market has adopted true global business services as an organizational structure. How are you seeing the development of global business services in the market, and how are you responding to that development?
I think I see global business services as an opportunity for third-party providers like TCS, simply because the whole pie or what is available to be outsourced is getting redefined and becoming bigger and bigger as the global business services within a client organization takes shape. If you look at the last 8 to 10 years, especially in the business process services industry, I think the challenge is not what a third-party provider like TCS could do, but the challenge is more of the change management that a customer organization needs to undergo to be able to allow consolidation of processes, standardization of processes, which would result in the best in-house or outsourced shared services value. And global business services actually addresses that specific problem. It provides a structure for a large global enterprise at a customer to be able to undergo that change management and drive that change management, and a senior executive reporting to the CEO leading that global business service organization just gives a high level of sponsorship to the target model. And the reason I say we see the opportunities, once processes are standardized and consolidated, it becomes easier for those processes to be executed by a provider like TCS. And we then face a single customer in the global business services executive to be able to govern that entire relationship. So I feel very excited about how the industry is progressing, and it will open more opportunities in terms of market size that has traditionally not existed.